Kyiv presidential bunker. A cold wind rattled the windows of the underground meeting room. Volodymyr Zelensky stood at the head of the table, his hands flat against the polished oak surface. Around him sat generals, ministers, and intelligence chiefs, their faces tight with fatigue. On the screen behind him, the words flashed in red: Alaska Summit, Trump/Putin. "We all know why they are meeting," Zelensky said, voice steady but eyes burning. "Moscow will push for recognition of their hold on our lands. Washington," he paused, "might be tempted to trade our soil for a handshake." A silence heavier than artillery shells filled the room. "I will not surrender 1 inch," he declared, pounding his fist. "Not for peace, not for promises, not for any man in Alaska." A shadowy figure, an American senator, spoke into a secure phone line. "Alaska will be the stage, but the real show is Ukraine," he whispered. "Trump wants a deal to end the war before Election Day. Putin wants the Donbass and Crimea locked in forever. If Zelensky refuses, the talks could collapse before they begin." Scene 3, Anchorage, Alaska. Snow swirled over the runway as Air Force One and the Kremlin's Ilyushin jet touched down within an hour of each other. Local police lined the streets, snipers scanned the rooftops. Inside the state's old governor's mansion, the three leaders would meet, each carrying a different vision for the future of Eastern Europe. Before the summit began, a Ukrainian aide rushed in with a sealed note for the U.S. delegation. It was from Zelensky. "The land of Ukraine is not for sale. The lives lost are not bargaining chips. Negotiate peace if you must, but not on our graves." Trump smirked. Putin smiled like a man who had already won. Outside, the wind howled against the Alaskan night. The headline will not surrender land. Ukraine's Zelensky says a head of Trump-Putin meet in Alaska would shake diplomatic circles worldwide. Zelensky's statement, firm, uncompromising, would be aimed not only at Russia but also at the United States. The Alaska meeting between Donald Trump, now once again a political heavyweight in America, and Vladimir Putin would be seen as a potential backchannel to end the ongoing Ukraine war. For Ukraine, however, the stakes would be existential. Since Russia's 2014 annexation of Crimea and the 2022 full-scale invasion, Kyiv's position has been consistent. No recognition of territorial losses, no trade-offs for peace. Analysts would warn that if Washington sought to broker a grand bargain without Kyiv's full consent, it could fracture Western unity. NATO allies, especially in Eastern Europe, would view such a deal as appeasement, a repeat of 20th century mistakes. The choice of Alaska, far from Moscow yet symbolically close across the Bering Strait, would add intrigue. For Putin, it would be a display of global reach. For Trump, it would be a chance to showcase statesmanship. For Zelensky, it would be a reminder that the fate of his nation might be debated thousands of miles away. In interviews following his statement, Zelensky would double down. "We have fought too hard to see our country divided on someone else's table. Ukraine will decide Ukraine's future." Whether the Alaska meeting produced a peace breakthrough or collapsed in icy silence, one thing would be clear: Ukraine's president had drawn an unmovable line.